want to make sure that I have some brightness through the ends, but I want to make sure that I create that depth on the interior in here. So if I'm going to start here, I want to make sure that I have the most tension right there. If not, the hair strand will buckle. So you want to get that going in there. A little bit more on here. And this is the game. You have to continually load up your board until you get your rhythm going. It's funny because when we use foils, we use lots of pressure, and this is like the exact opposite. So Product Club makes the tools, but you bring the magic to the tool. By using less pressure or more pressure, you can really design your aesthetic as you go through. So you can see here, I have a big pocket of depth here, and then the lightener is through here. My transitions are not too long, and that way I'm going to get that lightness through the ends that I need. For me, the beauty of hair painting lies in the fact that you can change the way that you're doing it as you move through the head. One technique does not have to be the only technique that you're doing. You can combine different techniques. So right now I'm doing a V, or a two-sided balayage movement, a little bit up on each side just to create that softness. But then I could do roots to ends through the rest. The design is all up to you. So as long as you have the understanding of how the lightener works for you, the proper tools to execute it, and the timing and understanding, it's pretty limitless. So I have some bits coming through back here, and then my hairline bits, and now I want to come through and I want to leave some hair out, so that we can have that contrast happening on the interior. So I'm gonna subdivide this. And this is really kind of how you decide to do this, is you wanna see how much hair they have and where it's falling. So I'm gonna leave these little quadrants, these little triangles out on the top. Each person has different levels of density throughout their hair in different areas. And you really need to pay attention to that so that you can have a proper movement happening. So she doesn't have super heavy density, but I definitely want to have this fall through the top. So through the back, I'm going to leave some of this in the interior coming through, but I want to make sure behind her ear that I have some nice movement there. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab a little bit of a triangle above her ear in the back there. And I'm gonna paint that so that it falls over when she pushes this back. I'm gonna come up high here, get a little movement at the top. You can see getting a nice, strong, linear placement there, so we get a good stream. And then I'm gonna look on the other side of my triangle, and I'm gonna paint that a little bit. I like to work side to side. That way I get nice, even processing. So on this side, I'm going to take a similar section out to the last one, coming down in here and grabbing this little corner. Get this little peak here so that she has some pretty movement coming around her ear when she wears it pulled forward in front of her face. You want to watch how you lay this down so that you don't crack it too much. Just in general, you want to keep that in mind. Now we're on the top of her head. And I'm going to drop this section down because I want to protect some of the depth on the interior. I'm allowing for that to be in there to fall through the ends. And then I'm going to drop this over, and I'm going to kind of look for cowlicks. She has a little bit of a cowlick right here. It's kicking over in that direction, so I want to be aware of that. And I'm going to do some painting. I'm going to go closer to the roots and through the ends, because when this is done, I want to make sure that I have some lightness through the top. So I don't want to go too off base, because we're going to buff that out a little bit with the melting process.